Good morning. I'm a hard times guy. This video is Sunday morning number 7, and it actually is Sunday morning. Kind of an unusual situation this week. And this video will be a little different than some of the earlier Sunday morning videos have been, but I want to talk about our plan and making our plan today. Let me regress first and tell a little bit about my week. It's been a difficult week. Betty, many of you know, she's my wonderful wife of 57 years. She had surgery on Wednesday this week, and we thought she'd have surgery and get to come home on Friday probably, and as I speak, she's still in the hospital, and we're wanting to get this over with, get her home, get back to our lives and what we like to do. But we're having to deal with some of the issues that she's having, so that's what's been going on this week, and that's why it's been kind of, I won't say hectic, but not normal in the way that things have been going on this week and how we've allocated our time because of her situation. But the video, Sunday morning number 7, and at the beginning of this series we talked about making things simple and getting order into our lives and eliminating chaos as much as we can. And somewhere in there, in the first part of that series, we talked about having a plan. And today I want to talk about making your plan. Or at least a little bit. Get you started on making your plan. And you might remember in one of the videos I said, having a plan is important. And even a bad plan is better than no plan. So I might add to that we'll have many plans. So as we're talking about our lives and how we live them and what we do in pursuit of our goals, there is a big plan to address that with. And I want you to start on the big plan. I want you to think big and don't limit yourself by what you think is possible today or tomorrow or next week, but think about things as you want them to be and as you're making your plan. And then realize that there'll be lots of little plans and lots of other things in your life that you don't think about initially that need a plan. And then think about the plans have to work together. See how this can get complicated quickly? It can get complicated quickly. It can become overwhelming because you may have a plan to lose weight, for an example. Just jerk something out of the air. You're overweight. You want to lose some weight. You develop a plan to lose weight. And that's a want to in your life. Then you start encountering these little want tos. You love ice cream. And you start wanting a bowl of ice cream. And that little want to of ice cream contradicts, doesn't work, doesn't mesh with your big plan of losing weight. So you have to adjust something somewhere. You have to set priorities on your want tos. I've already went all over the place with this. I want to stop and go back to where I need to go before we continue on. Then I'm going to try not to just take off in any direction. let me say again, we need a plan. Now I'm going to tell you a story before I talk about the next thing about your plan and about your situation. Because this video is being made for future generations of my family. I want them to know how I thought about things. And I can't help when I'm making a video like this but think about current situations sometimes. And so some of these videos are aimed right directly at you. And you may be one of my grandkids, or you may be somebody I don't even know, but this video hits home with you. So, see, I did it again. I took off on a sojourn. The story. 1980, 1981, I got some calendars in there. I could look it up and tell you exactly when it was, but 1980 or 81 is close enough. My sister Diane, she was 4 years younger than me. She lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and things had gone wrong in her life. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what's going on with someone you love when they're that far away from you and your only communications are via telephone, and that's what they were in 1980. We didn't have Facebook and cell phones and all that kind of stuff. You had to pick up a phone, you had to call long distance, you had to be willing to pay the bill, and you had to talk, and the longer you talked, the more it cost you. So we didn't communicate probably like we should have, and things got away from her without those of us who are that far away knowing it. But even over the telephone, it finally became obvious to us, her mother and me and some others that were talking to her, that something had gone wrong there. And we were concerned about her and about her health and what was happening. And finally, they came to the point where it went terribly wrong, and we got a call from officials. I don't know where these officials were, law enforcement officials or hospital officials, but Diane was in the Maricopa County Jail in Phoenix, Arizona. And they were looking for someone that could be responsible for her. And they were willing to release her to that responsible individual without pursuing the charges that got her into jail to start with, if someone could come and get her. And that someone was going to be me. And I'll tell you something about that too. We got this call and we started figuring out how this was all going to be able to be worked out. And one of the things it took was money, because just getting from here to Phoenix, Arizona and retrieving Diane and then getting back home was going to cost money. And it doesn't seem like a lot of money to me now, but in those days it was a significant amount of money. I think the time I flew out and flew back and the expenses of doing that and staying in Phoenix while we were gone, and I think it ended up being $1,100–1,200, something like that. And some of you are laughing like that's nothing, Papa. But in those days it was to Betty and I, it was a lot of money. And it happened to be the first time in our lives that we actually had that much money in our bank account that wasn't obligated for something that month. We had the little surplus. We'd managed to get far enough ahead that we could spend $1,100 or $1,200 without borrowing it. And like I say, that was the first time in Betty and I's married life that we'd ever been that financially well off. And we sat down and talked about this thing, and she said, you know, Luke, it's Diane. You have to go get her. We have to spend that money. Praise God, we got it. And so we did. Didn't mean to tell you that part, but just kind of worked its way in there. Went to Phoenix, went to the jail. It brought Diane out. I had, I'm not going to go into all the details about her apartment, what it looked like, all the wonderful young lady I met there that was her friend that helped me immensely. I can't remember her name. I got it written down somewhere too. But she is she was a godsend. I've lost track of her nowadays, but I thank you, young lady. You helped me immensely at a very difficult time. Got Diane, they brought her to me, didn't even recognize her hardly. She was gaunt, dark circles under her eyes. Her hair looked like a Don Martin cartoon. And she was obviously sedated. Found out on the airplane on the way home why she was sedated. Because she was hearing coded messages from things on the radio, overhearing conspiracies from space aliens and the people on the airplane. Her life was a disaster, and she was nearly gone. And I'm going to do a video one of these days about hard times and how this is a misnomer, because I've seen so few hard times in my life. I have lived a blessed life, and I still do. But this time was one that would make this very short list of hard times. But we got Diane home, and she lived here with Betty and I and our children as we were trying to get her life situation straightened out. And there were horrendous days where she screamed and yelled and threw things and attacked us with weapons and threw food and drink and flower vases and spewed profanity like something you never heard before, and wild stories. And it was difficult and overwhelming, and that's why I'm bringing it up now as we talk about forming your plan. We developed a concept between Betty and myself and Diane. We had to get things to the point where we could continue on, because sometimes it felt like it was just overwhelming. It was too much. We couldn't deal with it. There was no way out. And we came up with this thing called Little VICTORIES. Little VICTORY, the singular, a little victory. Because sometimes our complicated lives get to the point where they just overwhelm us, and it seems like it doesn't matter what we do, we can't make any progress, we can't have what we want, we can't even envision happiness on some scale. And so you need something to encourage you and to hold on to and to help you keep going, keep fighting, keep working, to persevere, to be diligent in pursuit of whatever it is you're trying to do. And that something for us became little victory. We looked for some little anything that was a victory, that was progress, that we could say, wow, look at that. Everything's not black. There's light. There's a little light there. I'd like to tell you that we got complete and total victory, and in a way we did. Diane was diagnosed with a condition called manic depression, and she was able to return to an almost normal life. She had to have medication to keep herself focused and able to deal with things the way everyone else does. She got a good job at Indiana University. She had an apartment west of Bloomington, and she got all the, what was a total chaotic, overwhelming mess, she got that all put back in order and was nearly self-sufficient, and that's what she wanted. And that's what she had. But she lost track, and in a very short period of time she got to where she couldn't manage, and she overdosed. On the lithium that she had to manage her mood swings. August the 5th, 1985, she died. But she got what she wanted. She got control of her life. And she was living in control of her life. If she'd have had someone living with her and able to recognize that she'd somehow gotten off her meds, just that little something might have saved her life, but that's not what she wanted, so, we were letting her do what she wanted to do. Enough of that. I brought that up for this reason. When you're making your plan, or your plans, and I hope since we've talked about them in the beginning parts of this, earlier parts of these videos, if you're watching these Sunday morning videos, you've already got yourself a notebook and you're making plans. You have to have a plan. You have to have a roadmap to work towards, and you'll find out that life is complicated. You need many plans and you need order and structure in your life. If your life has got to the place where, boy, it's difficult and it's discouraging and it seems overwhelming, I told you this story for this reason. I want you to build these into your planning. Little victories. If you've got a big goal that seems insurmountable today, that seems you'll never get from where you are today to where you want to go, build sub plans into that big plan so that as you move towards that big plan, you can have little victories. You can see progress. You can know it's working or isn't working and you need to adjust it. But you need those little victories. You need those small successes on your way through whatever kind of a thing you're trying to work through, on your way to that big goal that you've got. That thing that's not going to happen this afternoon, it's not going to happen next week. It's going to take time and effort and perseverance to keep yourself encouraged. Look for those little victories. I'm a hard times guy. Have a good day.